Alright, and I think we should be good. It just has to be pointed slightly more up. That's perfect. I should be good.
One watching. Let's see.
Perfect. Alright, we should be good then.
Decided.
Alright, welcome back, guys.
I'm just going.
This was like, we did part one of this like, what, a month ago?
Yeah, I was, that was a while ago.
Well, there's a...
Double.
See a higher number there since the last time.
Yeah,
Last time
for
you were
sure.
here last week, that was 28.
Oh shit, 63.
Yeah, it was 28, less than a full week ago.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That's
Oh,
pretty
it's
cool. A lot of really
cool.
awesome
Great job.
people.
You know, I used to really not like 2D side-scrolling games like this because I thought they were just, I don't know, I wouldn't say too simplistic, but just
It's not as stimulating.
that
Totally.
just it just didn't really feel like there was much substance there. Just because of how repetitive the gameplay was.
Yeah.
And then I think it was
Did you play-
Fez.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would say Fez would
blew
be
my
Yeah,
mind.
Fez was pretty goddamn cool.
yeah, like that. I would say that was the first 2D. I don't know if I don't even know if you could call it really 2D, but
Right.
I would say the first side scroller platform
Did you play
game that
Bridge?
And the graphics are 2D.
yeah,
I'd say so. I'd
Okay.
say
Yeah.
it works in a it literally
The
makes it. It's a
puzzles
2D
are
game in a
3D.
3D space.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Oh, I think
well,
it's the,
hope there
like,
wasn't anything there. I
maybe
needed.
how I described it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of close. See, but we never got that sequel.
Oh,
There was
yeah.
supposed to be a sequel.
Uh-huh.
The
I forgot
dude
about that.
Spearheaded it, just turned into a giant asshole all of a sudden, and was exiled from the internet, I guess.
Huh.
And he canceled the game over people criticizing him, basically.
Understandably. I mean, in the sense of him being already the biggest douche,
Yeah.
and then him subsequently having thrown a tantrum and canceling things
Yeah.
because he got caught up, or not caught up, but he
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
tried to
caught up.
hold him accountable.
Yeah.
Caught up, yeah. Hold him accountable. Was what I was trying to say originally. But yeah.
Well, his ego just got so big, and he just thought he was a fucking genius, I guess.
Mm. Not to say that Fez wasn't
It- I
I
mean,
mean
it was a
that's
genius
what we were just talking about, just how
Yeah.
ingenious it was, and just
Totally,
how it
totally.
totally broke not
that
pun
doesn't
intended, I
make
guess,
him-
how it broke the platform. But I mean, I guess personally for myself, Fez was really the first 2D, the first platform game that made me have an appreciation, not only just for the
Oh.
genre itself, but for what you can do
Uh-huh.
in a platformer. And so since then I've just even though I still don't play platformers because I'm just not very good at them, I guess I have more of an appreciation, and
Totally.
Fez was definitely the first game that made me realize that. And I mean even this it is simplistic. The idle animation is what's the word am I trying to think of? Repetitive. It's the same 10 frames over and over again, but at the same time there's layers to the artwork. There's
Yeah.
foreground, there's background, there's
And
you can
starting with the gray too, it makes each one more interesting. You get more out of
definitely.
the little bits of color that they start to add. I
And just
this is already
being
an entirely
being able to
different game.
see the shadows and even the light rays of the sun, even though this
Yeah.
looks very stencil, almost like a mix between watercolor and colored pencil, like having that kind of detail of light effects and shadows. Like it just blows my mind that we're like that this is real. Like this is I don't know,
moving
like
painting almost.
yeah, like
Yeah, it's a great example of
just how
how
far
games can be art.
exactly.
Wait, okay.
I also think it totally makes sense for our age group to
How so?
to not be as into 2D platformers, just because
Yeah.
we grew up in. I think we grew. I mean, I do like a lot of them, but we still grew up in an age of 3D, like where like games that should have been left 2D were forced to be 3D.
Yeah.
Right. Like everything was like that for a little while.
Yeah.
Like Mortal Kombat shouldn't have been 3D.
Yeah. Or definitely not as early as it was.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing with I think Soul Calibur works as a 3D fighting game because it's so melee. It's like it's all weapons, right?
Yeah,
It's weapons Tekken.
yeah.
My thing about Mortal Kombat is that there is such a heavy use of projectiles that if you can strafe to the
Yeah.
side to get out of that
yeah.
attack, it kind of it hurts the way the game works with all the past superpowers and stuff.
Yeah,
You know?
Mortal Kombat's almost like too, for lack of a better word, linear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no sense of 3D, of 3 dimensions, despite the, like, art style and what... Yeah, despite the art style and, like, kind of, like, what you would expect from a game with that kind of graphic. Portal. In my opinion.
No,
I don't know if
totally.
that makes sense.
Like you mean the 2D ones, or the?
I mean, in general, even with like the 3D, like, I mean, just what you were saying, just like, there's a lack of like, it doesn't make sense for it to have a like 3D aspect to it,
Right.
because of how many projectiles there is. But you would almost expect it to have a 3D like aspect to it because of how advanced the graphics are, in my opinion. For like but like I get like why they haven't, obviously, to stick with the the OG concept, which I mean I can respect by itself, but at the same time, like the game in itself does heavily rely on projectiles, like you said.
Yeah. I think like I think if any fighting game, if you want to have things be projectile heavy, right? And I think you can do it.
To a
sure,
point,
but-
before it just becomes like annoying and broken.
At least the newer Mortal Kombat games, I don't. I think are balanced really well. The really recent ones. There was a period, I'd say, from like 1998 to like 2011 where I did not like how Mortal Kombat games played. Which is a pretty
2011 was
long-
that MK9?
Yeah, that was the first one I liked in a long time because it went back to the 2D plane. And I like there's like 4, I think, was the first 3D one I want. I'm pretty sure that came out in '98. But I played all of them. Like I still totally played all of them. That
Yeah.
being said, but I just felt like if you can walk around each other in a full circle, projectiles they stop. They don't matter anymore. And I feel like because it built so much of the system around doing that like if you put it into 3D, it just totally kind of breaks it. Like,
Okay. No, I see where it comes from.
because like in Soul Calibur, right? Like that or Tekken, right? Like there might be a few projectile like things thrown around every once in a while, but like
It's very melee combat focused.
yeah, and I think that works really well in a 3D setting, like super well.
Oh yeah, because you're forced to be close.
But like, would you want Street Fighter to be full 3D either? Like, would you want Street Fighter to play the way Tekken does? Right, like because that's
Yeah.
because Mortal Kombat is more like
Fair.
Street Fighter, right?
Yeah.
And that is the thing. Is Mortal Kombat did spend a solid more than a decade trying to make their games play more like Tekken or something like that, and I just didn't think that era of stuff worked as well. Another thing was the John Tobias, the actual character designer of the original arcade games, quit, split from the company after the third one. So when 4 has also started a trend of, I think, and there were still good ones, I think, throughout, but it started a trend of what I would just describe as lackluster character designs in that series, just really not that interesting looking new characters for some of those games. I think,
yeah, a lot of them just kind of seem to be play-ons of the originals.
Yeah, or I don't know. There's a couple of cool ones. Kenshi, I thought Kenshi was cool. The blind swordsman guy.
Kenshi was original, yeah.
And he was from the 3D games that I wasn't as big a fan of, but that was one that I do think works. So I'm not saying it was all bad either, but I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
They've also, I think, just gotten I think NetherRealm has ever since it broke from Midway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Midway straight up just went bankrupt, right? And then
oh my God, did they?
Yeah. That's
what happened
after Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
I thought they just got bought out by another company.
No, they went totally bankrupt.
That's kind of surprising.
And then and then basically Mortal Kombat 4, 5, 6, 7, which was Armageddon, and then 8, which was Mortal Kombat versus DC. That's what it was. That was the last one. Mortal Kombat versus DC was the last one before Midway went bankrupt. And
I wanted to Marvel. I mean, DC, MK versus DC so badly.
Well, I think now that we have two separate franchises with Injustice and Mortal Kombat I think it works so much better though. Because I think you're right that the idea there was interesting, but I think just doing a DC fighting game ended up being, I think, just a way better
decision. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're working on 3 right now.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well,
in that movie 3. Too.
Oh yeah,
how much are the writers of the comic involved in that?
I don't know, because it's not the game story that they're adapting.
Right,
it's the comic book tie-in, which was actually really good.
It was good.
I normally I feel.
I didn't read all of 2's, but the first one was good.
Yeah, it was 1, 2. I want to say it's the kind of head and writer of the comic that had done it since it started. Left somewhere in the middle of 3.
I didn't mean to leave my friend behind.
A bit of a drop in quality after that.
Yeah, stop being a dick.
How do I get back to that, dude?
You can't.
Had a shortcut for me.
You fucked up.
I did. Oh, we were here before.
Maybe?
We were here before.
It would maybe require a really long way around though.
Uh-huh.
So you probably could get back to it, but it might.
But I'd have to redo a bunch of stuff.
It'd probably be more effort than it's worth.
Sorry, buddy.
So lost my train. What was I?
MK.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then Warner Brothers picked up the team, right? And they basically got to make their own timetable for their games, right? And they made NetherRealm, and then 9 was their first game as that new studio. And they rebooted it, and I think made it a lot better.
That's for sure.
But Injustice. I was talking about the Injustice animated movie.
Yeah.
Tyler, did you ever read any of the comic?
No, I did not.
Okay, because this is what I was thinking was that I feel like most of the time when you hear about that kind of tie-in material for video games, it almost always feels cash grabby.
Oh yeah.
This is one of those rare, maybe the only time I could think of where it felt like a really good, earnest storytelling.
Well, that's because it was produced by DC.
Yeah, one and Tom Taylor is one that I like particularly.
Yeah,
he
they
did
got a
the
good-
main
And Tom
Batman-
Taylor is
He did the main Batman comic for
Well,
like
okay.
4 or 5 years, like something like that. He did a really great story. He literally has done the only the second, I think, truly great storyline with Bane ever in the comics.
wow.
Like the original version of Bane, like that very first
Nightfall.
comic where he breaks Batman's back and like, oh, hi honey.
Huh.
Reason number 23, I could never be good at platforms. Puzzles like this. It's just way too smart for me.
Uh-oh. Well, I might be too smart for me.
Tyler, how do you feel about Cuphead?
Sage, I'm the type of person that couldn't fight their own way out of a paper box.
So you don't like that game, I'm assuming.
No.
Yeah, I just it's a ridiculous one, like for like anyone. I feel like so that's like
You gotta be a special kind of sadistic to like that game. Masochist.
I am.
I had fun with it, but it also drove me.
It's like, do you want
Yeah, I
to
went
destroy
my
your
mind.
self-esteem for 5 hours straight? Here you go.
And I had an
It's
urge.
like, how to wreck yourself emotionally in less than 30 seconds.
It was definitely one that I would turn off quickly.
Yeah,
at
if you
times.
felt like you were like super
Yeah.
stuck, you just
If
you're
I was
like,
just
"All right,
making no progress, I was just like, alright, nope, this is not the game for right now.
Well,
Gotta play something.
I was stuck on one boss for about a year, I think.
Oh yeah,
It's
same. It
with
was the
the
first
dragon.
one.
What's that?
The dragon?
The dragon was what I was stuck on, and I couldn't
had-
beat it on my own. Corbin actually came over
Yeah.
and we beat that in the 2-player because I just couldn't. That for some fucking reason,
I had more trouble with the clown than I did the dragon.
the clown.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the clown was a pain in the ass too.
On the, yeah.
Beautiful animation though, that game.
All hand
I think
drawn.
that's. I mean,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
it's not like it's not going to make it any easier to play like because it looks good, but it's definitely
It's a
got
plus
great art
nonetheless,
style.
though.
Yeah, there were many times where we were like, it's a good thing this game is gorgeous, because we would not be
We wouldn't
putting
put
the
up with
effort
it if
in.
it wasn't.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing is, no one would be like. I mean, I don't know if it didn't have a great art style. I don't know if I'd have any interest.
There's a
The difficulty alone isn't enough to make me want to play it.
hand, I think it's hand drawn, same animation style anyway, like RPG. It's eventually coming out that
Oh.
I did the Kickstarter for.
Oh,
Steamboat Billy.
Yeah, I
Or
remember
they
you
had to
telling me
change
about
the
that.
name. They had to change the name. It's something else now.
That mouse guy.
Rainbow Billy.
Checkbook out.
Yeah.
And said, "Nope, you can't
Yeah.
say that." No. Where's my money, bitch?
Yeah. You definitely cannot name your. As soon as I saw the Kickstarter, I was just like, that seems like that name is not going to last, but it looks like a good game.
Right. I mean, I'm curious to. I mean, I'd be really curious to see it. Like, see
I
the
mean,
final
yeah, the
version of it
like
and stuff.
animation stuff I've seen from Kickstarter backing, it looks good. I don't know how the RPG plays though.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the first things that you told me about when we first met.
Probably.
I think was actually one of the first games you were telling me about.
Steamboat Billy.
I'm
That
a
makes
pretty.
sense. That sounds like the right time period of when I was just like going Kickstarter wild.
It's like a weird nostalgia hit when you remember a specific conversation you had at another.
Oh
point
hey,
in
I found
time.
him.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Hi, buddy. Thank you for this ball of light. I don't know where it came from.
Just kind of like burped it out, sneezed it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it sounds
thing-
more like a sneeze.
You get
It's like
closer, that thing's actually
bioluminescent
disgusting.
snot, right? Yeah.
Just like it's sweating somehow. It's
That's actually
dripping.
not supposed to be a light. You probably shouldn't be touching that without gloves on.
That warm, fuzzy feeling you're feeling? That's called radiation.
Ooh, did I just... Can I keep...
Oh no,
doing
that's
that
not a
power?
tail. That's a third arm.
Wait, what just happened? Ooh.
can, like,
Okay, so I
glide
don't have
more.
double jump, but I gotta glide now. Alright, it's a bit of a double jump.
And you know what else helps a game like this, I think?
Hmm.
It's only like 2 hours,
Yeah.
2.5 hours
Yeah.
long.
The new...
You can be more simple if you're short, I
Or
think.
more recent
I get- yeah,
developments
no,
of
definitely.
indie games being like gorgeous and short, I think is a great genre for the age of Steam and Game Pass.
Oh, definitely.
Because if you tell me that you're going to give me something that is like really cool for, 2 hours versus something that's, you're going to get like 100 hours of gameplay out of it, but it's not going to be nearly as consistently unique and
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
Cool.
that is the biggest problem with today's
I
like
feel that real hard
with
on
today's
Assassin's
studios is that they way overpromise and then underdeliver.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even the fact that half the time they're actually under-delivering. It's just the fact that they just over-boistered
They're bad
way
at
too
setting
much.
expectations.
Yeah, they
well,
set
and
their
they put
expectations.
so much stuff that some of it's gonna be mediocre.
Yeah.
When your game is jam-packed with a bunch of things you can do, some of those things are probably not gonna hit the
Pan
mark.
out, yeah.
Like
And
This
open
the
world
right-
games, I think, are too numerous.
Yeah. Well,
Like not everything, like that Wolverine game. I hope it's not open world. I think Spider-Man's great open
I
world.
would be
don't
fine
think
with
that
a
Wolverine one should be.
small
Yeah.
open world.
I don't
Like-
even know if like small open world would be good either though, because like there's no movement like mechanic with Wolverine. I mean, like
Yeah, that's a good point.
the only thing that I can think of if there was an open world mechanic to
Motorcycle?
that game is if Wolverine had a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But even then, the motorcycle like that's not very like I don't know how fun that
Iconic.
could be.
The only character that I think I would play a whole game of where their mode of transportation was a motorcycle is Ghost Rider.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
that's because that makes the most utter fucking sense.
Right.
There is
Or
no
they could
Ghost
do-
Rider without the
Without a
ride.
motorcycle.
Robbie Reyes with the badass muscle car too.
That'd be pretty sweet.
I'd play the fuck out of that too.
But I just feel like then that'd be like too close to the Mad Max game, and we all know how that turned out.
Well, maybe they can overshadow it. I don't know. Did you ever see the 2015 Marvel Secret Wars comic? Do you know about that? It's not the first book to be called Secret Wars, but it's like the most recent.
No.
So, in that comic, they
Oh, this puzzle about
do
to
this
be-
like heavy alternate reality stuff. Basically, the multiverse is like collapsing. Right? There's these creatures called the Beyonders in Marvel.
Okay.
The Anti-Monitor in DC.
Yes.
Think of like a whole species of that like is just
Okay.
like tearing. They're just destroying the multiverse. There's a like Reed Richards and some of the other scientists. They build like a weird pod thing that's supposed to like be able to survive in the like weird lack of reality.
Mhm.
And then like a group of villains get in one too. So there's like these couple of straggling survivors from random heroes and villains from across the universe. But as that final whatever is happening, the last two universes left: Ultimate Comics
Mhm.
and the main original continuity. And before they realize that these Beyonders are the ones responsible, those two universes are just straight up going to war with each other, right? They end up collapsing too. You've got these pods and a few people left. And then Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange, and Molecule Man survive.
Interesting. Okay.
Now, because Molecule Man can manipulate molecules, he can reach into, like, his own matter in another universe and manipulate it, right?
Interesting.
So Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, right, both sorcerers, they use him, like, they literally do a spell, then they, like, liquefy him, and then they use him to, like, rebuild the multiverse inside of, like, one small miniature universe. And Doctor Doom's like this emperor. He's God basically in this scenario. And they even have like a wall, like a big wall that like the symbiotes, the Ultron horde, the Marvel zombies, like basically every monster from any universe, all been like this weird wasteland. That's the wall. It's a little Game of Thronesy, but like the way they do the art makes it worth. It sells it. But within this like weird miniature universe, there were all these spin-off comics, and I'm finally going to get to my point. One of those was a Ghost Rider one, and it's a shitload of Ghost Riders in like a crazy infinite racetrack, all like racing each other, and one of them is a Tyrannosaurus Rex riding a fighter pilot.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that.
And it's a ridiculous image, and it's fantastic.
Half the time I see images like that are clearly actually from a comic, I still don't believe they're actually from a comic because they're just
like,
so random and
absurd.
so absurd that it's just like there's no fucking way that this could actually have been done.
Have you watched all of Loki?
I've not, no.
Okay. Corbin, have you watched all of Loki?
All of what? Loki?
Have you watched all of
Yes.
Loki? Okay.
Ooh.
When you do, let me know, because I'm just curious what you think.
Oh, that's not what I expected. I thought I had a new friend.
Well, that one does not like you. Mean bird.
Hello there.
Hey there, Sarah. How you doing?
Hello, Sarah.
Welcome to Gris. And this bird is trying to mess me up.
Yeah, it's basically like a giant like transforming depression monster, essentially.
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing
How
well
about you?
here. Other than this bird, you know.
Kind of concerned that I can see through this bird.
Yeah, it does. It's not a good bird. It's not a good one at all. Looks like some evil shadow magic shit.
All right, we've tried going that way, and now we're going to try.
That's a good idea.
There we go.
Oh, my glide.
No, we've already tried that way again, Corbin.
Wait. Let me see if I can ride it. Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
There we go.
Nice.
Did it leave?
No,
It did not.
I'm gonna tell you something that the game doesn't tell you on its own. You know how that you can do that like smash down thing?
Oh yeah,
Do
that's
that
right.
over the see that red little pot in kind of in between right
There?
there? Smash that. Oh, okay, maybe not that one. Try the one further in the corner.
Down below.
More to the right side.
Got it. That one.
Yeah, try doing that. Oh, you can't get in there.
Okay.
All right, never mind. I'm misleading you. I'm total.
There are
There are
seen
destroyable ones,
I
though.
have seen a couple of those. But
That also prevents you
Yeah.
from getting.
Oh, well, what do you know?
I forgot about that. Oh, that's terrifying. That inky Phantom Planet.
Oh, Tyler, have you ever seen Fantastic Planet?
Or Fantastic Planet, that's what I mean.
Fantastic Planet?
Yeah.
I've not, no.
It is a bizarre, like, animated French art film from the
Oh,
70s. And is...
It's not a short series on Discovery?
No.
It fooled me.
It's not about... What is it? For a while, it was like either Hitler or sharks on the Discovery Channel. Like, they weren't playing anything else for a while. There's a couple of years
That sounds like the History Channel.
Or maybe I'm mixing that up, aren't I? Yeah, that was the History Channel that did that. And then Ancient Aliens. And they're still doing Ancient Aliens.
Like, I just don't know. Like,
I saw one that claimed that Marvel and DC superheroes were evidence of Ancient Aliens.
Well, as soon as we started talking about Ancient Aliens, we lost a viewer, so let's change the subject.
Where am I supposed to go? Oh, I was right in front of me.
That stuff is the poison of society. It really, really is.
A long time ago, I had a teacher who apparently went to the San Diego Comic-Con. This was
really?
back in like 2013, and at the con apparently the guy that's famous for that one meme from Ancient Aliens, with the hands,
the crazy hair,
with the crazy hair.
Yeah.
Apparently, he had his own booth at Comic-Con.
I would have gone up and talked to him.
So you would have thought that, like, 2013, like, that was when like everyone knew that meme,
right?
Like, super popular still, I would have assumed. Turns out no one came up to his booth. Like, apparently my teacher's brother did the music for the Star Wars Kinect game. So
really?
Yeah. So he actually got to work with the London Symphony Orchestra.
Nice.
Super neat.
Cool.
Super cool. And so, like, he was a part of the Kinect game booth, and apparently that booth was right near the Ancient Aliens guy's booth. And apparently, like, my teacher goes on to say that, like, he looked like he was the most depressed person there. Like, no one came up to his booth. I sat right next to my brother at the other booth, and like periodically I'd look at him, and he just like had like the gloomiest look on his face. And it's just like, that's really not surprising, but also really fucking sad. Like, it's just like you want to feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, it's just like anybody who's been on the show of Ancient Aliens, I don't feel any remorse for them whatsoever.
It's what you signed up for.
Yeah, I mean, like, you think that, like, people were laughing with you? No, they're laughing at you, my guy. They're completely and utterly laughing at you.
I saw a very similar situation happen to Gilbert Gottfried one time.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Except he looked angry.
Oh!
Yeah, he just looked mad.
Oh. Were people just like making fun of how he sounded, or
no, just the not going up to his booth at like a con.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. So much of his stuff is
no,
animated that I wonder if people don't even recognize his face.
They might. That's true. Some people might not. I sometimes have to remind myself how, like,
what he looks like.
Well, no, that's a burned image, I think. It's just a face. I don't know. He's just got such a specific.
Yeah, it looks like someone hit him over across the face with a fucking hot iron. I know. It's like someone like cartoon, like you know in a cartoon when an iron, like I'm talking about a fucking like clothing iron, like
right.
How can you forget Godfrey? I mean, no one can.
Yeah,
that's why we said it's a burned image. It's a burned image inside your head. But I'm saying that Gilbert Godfrey literally looks like a real life version of a cartoon character that gets hit in the face with a clothes iron. Like, yep. Just like, you know how like the face would get like really like shrunked in. And just like kind of like cross-eyed or like really squinty-eyed because like that's where they got hit. Yeah, no, that's what Godfrey looks like. Yeah. Just like the real life Uncanny Valley version of that, and that's why no one can look. Like, that's why I can't look him in the eye. Not saying that anybody could actually look at him in the eye because his eyes are always fucking closed.
It's kind of the same thing as George Bush, yeah. He looks like he's looking at the sun.
Oh, all the damn time.
Like, even indoors, he looks like there's like the sun is like kind of directly in his field of vision.
I just feel like he purposely tries to look at the lens at that point to make it look like that he's not. It's just like, no, I have a reason now. I have a reason why my eyes look like this. It's because of all these damn lights. I'm George W. Bush.
Why have we had so many like goofy sounding presidents? Like, why is that something that recurs?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
You can't fool me twice. just lost checkers to a game. Just lost checkers to a chicken. Good game, Mr. Klux. George
Fool me twice, can't get fooled again.
George Bush also once said, "It's time for us to leave the planet and enter the solar system." In referring to like funding for space travel.
God, you know what? When I heard initially that like both the guy that owns Virgin Mobile and Jeff Bezos was going to space, like. You know, there were the two camps of like, wow, I can't believe they're doing that, and the other camp was like, yeah, fucking stay there. Like I was just like I was very indifferent like about the entire topic. It's like congratulations, just a giant like big dick competition. But like then I read into it and I realized that or didn't realize, but I learned that you literally cannot sustain life in space for long periods of time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. I mean, look at the ISS, but at the same time, it's not comfortable by any fucking means.
It's
no
not
matter
good for you.
no matter how much money you throw at it, like you're still going to be fucking uncomfortable for 90% of the time.
There's a great story I have to tell you. One of the people that went up on that ship was this woman who was supposed to be have gone to space
before,
a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
And Jeff Bezos brought her because it's like
They're experienced.
Yeah.
well, and he wants like some sort of recognition for like look what I did for her. I brought her. She didn't get to go, so I made it happen. That I think is what he
get the fucking white savior complex out of here.
But what was amazing about it?
Oh, we lost another one or what? You didn't like me saying that? You motherfucker, come back here and say, come the fuck back into this fucking stream. What are you doing? God, fucking coward. Couldn't take the heat, had to get out of the kitchen.
But when they came back, that woman basically left Jeff Bezos' spaceship a bad Yelp review because she hated it. It was really fun.
Iconic. What a fucking goat. That's awesome. The only way that could have been more awesome if she did that from the spaceship itself.
Right.
And it was a fucking iPhone too.
Yeah, sent from iPhone.
Yeah, sent from iPhone.
Texting during it, that disinteresting that she's texting while she's on a fucking spaceship.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're in space and you're fucking leaving a Yelp review. Like, how fucking disinterested could you be?
If we ever got to like a technological point, like you're like where you have real space travel like that, you probably would have. I mean, like that almost seems like something that's an inevitability.
Yeah. No, really, honestly.
Like it's so funny and surreal right now, but like at some point that's probably going to be totally normal. Like we wouldn't even laugh at it at some point because it wouldn't seem out of commonplace. It's just weird to think about that.
Yeah.
I love how the colors layer on each other every time you get a new one.
Yeah, so we must not have gotten blue last time then.
We got red and green the first time.
Oh, that's right.
And then there was maybe a little bluish.
Is it going to be like all the primary colors, or I guess green isn't primary.
Green isn't primary, but it's wait, I can't think.
I want to say yellow is the only one left, actually.
Come on.
Yeah, I guess you can't.
I think that might be another ability that you have to
that makes sense. Okay. Oh, I didn't see those butterflies. There we go. Oh, that's a cool... disappearing platform.
Oh, that's neat. I like how they transitioned to that.
Boing.
Whee!
Oh, it doesn't go away.
Whee!
You can still.
Yeah,
stand
those are
there.
totally solid. They're just
They're just
artsy.
not always visible. Yeah.
you know.
The game information.
But no, that movie Fantastic Planet, right? That is
come on.
that movie. Like you could have never
Okay,
taken
whatever.
any kind of drug in your life, and that movie will make you feel like you took them all at once.
How did we get on the topic of Fantastic Planet again?
Similar
I know-
art style.
I just-
Similar art style. Okay.
Yeah. It was,
I'm about to say, like, I know for a fact that we tangented from Fantastic Planet because I made the reference to that not being a show on Discovery.
Yeah.
yes.
And then we tangented off of that, but okay, but same art style. Okay.
Yeah, it's got some similar, sort of super similar art in some places, except like
Oh, that's
like I don't know whatever the weirdest movie you've ever seen is, and then like take acid.
Oh god, there was this one rock opera that was like made back in like I want to say like early to mid '80s, but I forgot what it was called.
Rock opera, the 80s.
It took place in space. It was this very sci-fi.
rock opera.
Yeah, it was a space rock opera, and I remember like there was like this like weird space organ synth thing. It had the word doctor in the title, I want to say. The main character had this weird like Italian commedia dell'arte style mask. That was like also kind of like Plague Doctor-ish because it had that really long beak,
It sounds
like
like it
really
would
long,
stand out
or it
and
wasn't
be
even a
very
beak; it was like
memorable, too.
snout.
It sounds like proto. What was the one with Anthony Stewart had? Not Reaper. Repo.
Repo?
No, not Repo.
Yeah,
Repo
no.
was made back in like 20,
Yeah.
like 2000. That was like 2000s.
That was older.
But like a precursor almost.
Yeah.
No, but like Repo is a different kind of sci-fi. Repo is like post-apocalyptic. This was space.
Yeah. True,
Right.
True.
God, it's gonna eat. It's gonna eat at me. I can't think of this.
Yeah, that sounds like something that would really stand out too. So I feel like maybe I haven't seen it if I'm not remembering it.
It wasn't very like widely known. I don't
Okay,
think.
Okay.
Or if it was, it definitely was only for 15 minutes.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Huh. Well, if you do think of it at any point, let me know because I am genuinely curious.
You'd really enjoyed Sage simply because I think, if I remember right, it was just really fucking dumb.
Awesome.
It's just bad, and that's why it's enjoyable.
There's a balance of the right kind of bad too. You
Yeah.
know, like there's a artistic integrity to the right kind of bad, where someone bullheadedly and stubbornly sticks to their creative decisions for the worse.
So if it's red, blue, yellow, green, those are like pretty much the primary colors for like lighting,
Yeah.
which makes sense in terms of it being animated. And I suppose printing or painting, maybe, although that would be cyan, officially. I think. You're just
Phantom
telling
of the
me-
Paradise.
Phantom of the Paradise. But I want to see that.
Huh. Oh, I've seen that poster before. Oh, I literally told myself I'm gonna make a mental note to look that up later, and then I didn't do it.
I have
It
not.
is such a strange fucking film. I remember absolutely nothing about it because I was completely baked out of my mind when my friend Eddie put it on. But I just remember like the main character like somehow transforming into like this weird fucking alien bird thing. Like, and I was just like, I just had like no way to like conceptualized in my mind that I literally had to close my eyes
Oh my god!
because I just had no idea what was going on. Because I was baked out of my mind, I just was not paying attention to anything at all. But every time I tried, I just couldn't. My mind's just like, there's a lot going on right now. I'm overstimulated.
I think I remember where I saw that poster before. It was like a list of like Easter eggs or things that had been inspired by Berserk, and that was
What?
on that list. Yeah, that the way that mask looks, that is like directly that is like almost exactly an image out of that. And Berserk started in the 80s.
I forget about that.
That's actually
No
like
way.
older than it's
What is this for?
super old.
Like,
Ah.
can't get there.
Did you try the other way?
Yeah, there's nothing.
Have you gone this way yet?
No. But it just ends.
Alright. Huh.
Well, there doesn't seem to be like a death state.
Yeah, I don't think you can die in this game.
I'm just going backwards though. This is where I came from.
This is definitely meant to be like a very like relax and just kind of enjoy the atmosphere, I'd say.
Abzu was a great game for that too.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Did you ever play that, Tyler?
I think I got angry at Abzu because of the lack of direction. Just in general, there was
absolutely no direction.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
barely.
I literally just stayed in the same place the entire time I played the game, just because I had no fucking clue what to do. And then I just got angry about it because I was just like, there was no progression whatsoever in
That's
my.
how I felt with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it, honestly.
For as massive open world that game was, there just wasn't enough direction.
My quest marker kept bringing me to the person who gave me the quest, and it was not useful.
Yeah, that's definitely not helpful. I played like 10 hours of that game, too. I gave it 10 hours of my time before I was like,
I played a bunch of it, and I enjoyed the open world stuff. Like, I enjoyed the wandering around stuff almost more than I enjoyed when I was trying to do quests. But without the story direction, there was...
Yeah, even if they could have done it like Skyrim, where it was just like, we're gonna put the marker where you're supposed to go, but you're gonna have to find the rest of it, like...
Yeah. Or just put it on the map and make me read the map. I'm fine with that. But put it where I'm supposed to go, or at least a wide region, not where I just came from.
Right, exactly.
See, that's how I get deep underwater across things. I have to come from above and build up momentum. This is looking like almost Limbo-ish.
Yeah, with all the heavy silhouette use.
Or Shovel Knight.
Oh, sure. Like the cave stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
I played
That's
that
a game
game
of great
ages ago on my phone.
Shovel Knight?
I remember waiting in the lobby for work on my car to get done. And I was like, oh, this looks cool. It's only like $6.
Shovel Knight was awesome.
It was right after I switched like my first big phone after I left iPhone.
And what kind was that?
I think it was the Notebook. Galaxy. I think it's the first or second Galaxy Notebook.
Okay.
What's in here? I mean, it's cool, but
I think it's another, because you're a little higher, you can jump off the side and do the slam thing. I don't like.
Underwater. Yeah,
I think
you're
it'll
right.
carry you somewhere. There you go.
Oh.
Now
cool.
that's trippy.
That was kind of like the intro. That's kind of like the opening shot of the first higher animation sequence in Kingdom Hearts.
You know, I don't know if I've actually ever seen that, to be honest.
It's you like fall into the water, you know, and then you fall out the other side into. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember totally. I played so much of that game though.
Have either of you seen the trailer for the Matrix?
Yes.
The new one?
So fucking excited.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
I don't have my mind made up what I think about it.
Yeah.
I'm super excited that they got a lot of the original cast back.
Yeah.
I feel
That
like
is
the
cool.
biggest complaint people are gonna get is that Trinity and Neo don't look the same, which I'm already not excited to see.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous complaint.
I know there's gonna be
There are you're
enough
right,
complaints
right.
where it's gonna be talked about.
That is a legitimate problem with them trying to do another Indiana Jones, though.
Yeah.
That is really a problem for that.
But I'm glad that like they didn't do anything to change how they look, and they just kept them like, yeah, no, Trinity and Neo and everyone are old.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's probably a whole other iteration of the Matrix altogether,
Right.
right? Because I know the sequels aren't popular, right? But and I don't like them really either. I just really like the first movie, but they do talk about how there's been all these other versions of the Matrix, and this is this circular process that's happened over and over again.
Mhm.
There could be a different age in another round
Right.
of this happening, right? Like, why not?
I mean, yeah, but
Why not?
like,
That totally. It's like there's like a legitimate good. You don't even have to have an extra in-universe reason, but I think they even do have a good extra in-universe reason.
Uh-huh.
You know, I just don't see any room to like really count that as a negative.
well, yeah, no, I'm definitely not saying that it is by any means. I'm just
No,
like,
I know you're saying other people are
Yeah.
gonna totally, and I agree that's totally gonna happen.
but like, I'm interested on like what this actual story is going to be like, and if this is actually going to be just like a one-off film, or if they're going to try to build off of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And if they are going to try to build off of it, like,
What?
I'm interested on how they're going to, because I mean, Keanu Reeves, even though he's doing all this training and stuff for John Wick, like, he's still old. Like,
Yeah.
the actress, I forget her name, but the actress who plays Trinity is also kind of old.
I mean, I thought she looked older when she was in Jessica Jones, like almost
Yeah.
10 years ago. Well, not 10 years ago. That was more like 7 years ago.
Yeah, but it's still getting. Oh my gosh, baby.
Carrie-Anne Moss, yeah, no, like, I mean, okay, so she's 54, but like,
To do really intense action and like
Yeah.
Like
really
the
serious
Matrix
stunt stuff, like
at
that
the
is-
age of
yeah.
54, like,
I wouldn't say that that's old, but I'd say it's old for doing that kind of hard work.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
Some people
sure, you
do
can
it.
like, obvious things you can do are like get a stunt double, but at the same time, it's like, well, then you're gonna have to go through the process of like doing deep fakes, maybe, or like
Which I'm
just
all
end up
movies
doing
haven't
an
done well yet.
awful action scene because you try to hide the face. And so like I'm gonna be interested on like how this works out, and then on top of that, like, if this is going to be a continuation into another film after the fourth one, like, are they going to introduce other characters? And if so, like, I don't know how well people are going to take to new characters, because they've already invested so much money into getting all of the old characters back.
Yeah.
I mean, in the trailer itself, you saw everyone from the Keymaker to the Oracle, Naomi, Trinity, Neo, and so it's like, what, like, how are we going to make an emotional connection to new characters if you're giving us all of this nostalgia for the old characters? Like, I don't know if the audience, i.e. also me, like, I don't know how we're going to make that sort of emotional connection in one singular film when you already have all of these other characters that we already have strong emotional connections to. Like, it works in films like the MCU because there's already standalone films for Spider-Man, for Doctor Strange, for Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
But there aren't standalone films for the Matrix. Like it's like you see all the characters and all of them in all of the films, and so to introduce it could possibly fall into the same realm as like the new Star Wars films, where it's just like, yeah, there was Han and Leia, but there's also new characters like Rey. That's her name. Her name is Rey and Finn, but like no one really cared about Finn because Finn didn't really do anything, and then on top of that,
they totally mismarketed him in those.
Yeah, they totally mismarketed too, and like I just couldn't make a real connection to Finn beyond like, oh yeah, no, Finn is one of the first and only BIPOC characters in Star Wars we see. Like,
my biggest problem with him was he started out as a person who is forcefully drafted into the service, right? And he grew up like homeless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up until that point. And then in The Last Jedi, there's a scene where Rose has to like explain to him the concept of poor people.
Yeah.
And I just like
yeah,
and was like drafted. What do you mean he doesn't understand people not having like properly livable resources? Like, what do you mean he doesn't get that idea? That he was someone that did not have proper livable resources. There's just inconsistent things all over the place, and I just didn't care for how much of a nostalgia trip it was, especially.
That's going to be another. That's another fear for me. Is like, is this new Matrix film just going to be one big nostalgia trip? Like, not saying that's a like. Nostalgia trips aren't always bad. Don't get me wrong. True. Like that's
could be
one of the main reasons why I watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But like at the same time, if all it is just a nostalgia trip, then it doesn't bring anything new to the table. And it's like, I'm watching this for the sake of nostalgia, for the sake of dopamine. I mean, and it's like I don't want that. Like that's too easy. That's too easy of a cash grab.
Yeah, especially, I mean, say what you will about the second and third movies, but that first movie is a very smart movie.
Oh yeah.
So I think something that is, in particular, that is like actually pretty intellectual. If it was just nostalgia, I'd be pretty disappointed by that too.
Cannot give this puzzle credit. Oh, I can stand there.
Yeah, I was wondering what you were trying to do with that.
I thought I had to build a platform.
I'm like, these are really interesting things that you're doing, but at the same time, like, I don't think that's...
But it's the same thing over
and over.
Yeah,
it's like, we've tried this 3 times over, yet he's doing it again. I just assumed you knew what you were doing.
So did I. That's one of the things I like about these, like, super casual or, like, not consequences heavy.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Now you can swim.
I can just swim around in this for 20 minutes. Maybe not 20 minutes.
That kind of the animation on the like, it does the flap forward.
Yeah.
Is really cool. You know, that's a genuine concern that was brought up about the next Spider-Man movie a lot before the trailer came out. Is this just going to be a giant nostalgia trip?
Yeah.
And I think that now that we've seen some more of it, I do think it's
Not
actually
quite.
selling the idea pretty well. But
yeah.
before seeing any footage, like I could totally
Yeah.
see how like how is this actually gonna like is this actually gonna be
Advance.
cool or is it just gonna feel like they're pandering?
Yeah.
Right. As long as it doesn't feel like Ready Player 3.
I was very
But just
disappointed
that
in how they
movie
handled that.
Felt more like a movie that was all fan service. Granted, I haven't seen the new Space Jam yet, and I heard that's maybe worse in terms of like
Yeah, it's just a
stuffed
commercial
with-
for HBO Max. The
yeah,
whole thing.
Mhm.
stuffed with fan
Shit we
service.
own. Look at this.
Yeah, here's all
Warner
our
Brothers,
IP.
100 years, Morty. Warner Brothers, 100 years.
Yeah.
That's what that ad was saying. That's exactly what it was. It's not even a movie.
It's a little
an
too
ad.
accurate.
Okay.
I
know
do.
what to do.
I do gotta say, I love when Rick and Morty does a commercial for something, though. The way that they like just outright tell you, no, we're fucking selling out. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if more commercials were honest about it like that, I would be more tolerant of a lot of them. Just be honest.
Okay.
Like, did you see the PlayStation 5 one?
With Rick and Morty.
Yeah, it's literally Morty standing in the living room looking at the camera, and there's a PlayStation 5 on the table next to him. And he's like, and it's really fast, and the controller, and Rick is in the background counting money on the couch. Like, tell them about how fast the hard drive is. They really wanted you to talk about that.
That's good. They apparently they put Rick and Morty in Fortnite.
Yep.
Is that? Yeah, that's.
And I'm just like
everybody in it
the
at this point.
age that age demographic of players of Fortnite is not kids who should be watching Rick and Morty yet.
Yeah, but you know what? I have to be
they're
honest.
making money, and those kids are probably already watching Rick and Morty.
Right. I mean, I just have to be honest. At that age, I would have been.
Yeah, no, like absolutely.
I would have broken whatever. But you know what? Just because I would have broken the rules to get to it doesn't mean that there shouldn't have been rules to get to it.
Right. Well, it's just like
I would
I
have
don't
broken
even
but,
mind
you know.
it being. Yeah, I don't know. It's just putting it in like such a
It
kid-focused
feels like it's marketing
property.
it directly to them
Yeah,
rather than
it's
letting
like,
them
hey
just kinda-
kids, check out this show that's edgy and you can be cool if you watch it. Okay, I don't understand which ones I can go through and which ones.
So
I
go
can't.
go. You're almost at the right part here. So that one that because you're trying to get into the center, I think, right? So.
Yeah,
So I believe. Oh, there you go. Nice.
I just had to brute force it and try every wall.
Because
Because some of the walls, it doesn't tell you which walls are.
There's no way to
Walls.
know other than just like.
Okay,
Going
there's
for
definitely
it.
a thing up there that I was supposed to get. Whatever. I'm not going backwards.
The game also is like there's not like. I just don't feel like there's a way to totally like.
Oh, I think I had to collect these little fly guys.
Oh yeah.
Wait, where'd they go?
Are there any significant releases that are still left in the final stretch of the year that either of you are like super looking forward to?
I was trying to think of what's even still coming out.
It's only a remaster, but the Alan Wake one.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be pretty excited, even if it's an older game. Like I still just like.
Yeah.
I'm interested in Far Cry 6.
Yeah, like I have like a cautious like optimism. Like I think there's some really cool ideas there. Let's hope they pull it off.
Like, I'm kind of afraid they're going a little too far into the realms of silliness. Like, with the over-the-top weapons. Like, I think I saw, like, some sort of, like, CD disc thrower or something like
That
that,
sounds
and
like something from
like
Sunset.
like some of
Overdrive.
yeah.
like some of the weapons definitely felt like they were just kind of ripped out of Saints Row or Sunset Overdrive, and it was like, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but like it's definitely not Far Cry from what we're used to in the past games, and like I don't know if it's, I'm just not sure if it'll translate over well.
Right.
Like yeah, we put these weapons in the game for the sake of putting these weapons in the games, haha, and it's like that's like it doesn't fit the aesthetic nor the
Far Cry isn't Just Cause.
Yeah. No, I totally see that. My biggest concern is that it might be repetitive, and I think
take out these regions, take out these bosses for these regions.
Exactly. I just
Here's a weapon.
That's kind of every Ubisoft game for a little while now.
And I can see that.
I'm like kind of don't care about anything Ubisoft does, like until they start proving. Like I mean, Far Cry 6 is something that I do think looks interesting, at least potentially. But like there has been a track record of me just not liking Ubisoft games for a while now.
Where are these dudes supposed to go? Oh. I forgot. Oh, wait, do I have enough?
There must be like...
Yeah, I think I haven't gone left yet.
Yeah, it's just like halfway. Yeah, I don't know. I just like... I'm not really a fan of where Assassin's Creed is, for the same reasons. I just don't... I just think it's
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
I just figured out that other puzzle. Okay, well, I know how to get one of the two, but since I'm here, I'll get this one. I take those guys out and do a...
Alright, somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. I just Ubisoft needs to do something to kind of win me back a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, whatever, you know, they don't make a thing I like, I don't buy it, whatever. They're not bothering me just by existing. But if, like, they, you know, they want my money, and I know they do. They want everyone's money. And if they want my money, they just need to try a little harder. Like, they're not quite like Activision Blizzard, but right now. But granted, they did have some problems with some similar things just like a year ago, and it kind of just got forgotten about.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, is anything actually gonna happen with Activision Blizzard? Just because, like,
nope,
nothing happened the last time.
Consequences are not a thing.
They'll fire a couple of the like key offenders, throw them under the bus, but like change anything in depth about the company.
Been known as a crappy place to work for,
right?
Since like at least early 2000s.
Did you say Ubisoft or Activision?
Sorry, Activision.
Activision. I just didn't make
yeah,
but yeah, no, absolutely.
Because they had let's see. I was reading like webcomics in high school about QA jobs that people had, and one of them was Activision. They're like, oh, it's so exciting, you got a QA job, you're working in the games industry. What they ended up doing was literally just booting the game up over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, it's not a fun job.
Yeah,
they lie to you.
I also had a friend who was a part of that as well, and they were like, yeah, for 16 hours straight, we just had to like jump in corners of maps to make sure that it
Yeah.
wasn't like it wasn't broken.
Someone who was testing stuff for the release of the PS2 just had to sit all day and open and close the disk drive over and over to make sure it didn't just stop
Yep.
on the 700th open of the day.
Oh god.
But it gets marketed as like, hey, like, get your foot in the door, like,
And
that's
when you-
not going to get you into the room where you're coding or developing stories.
Yeah.
And when people talk about like how bad of a thing like crunch and stuff is,
Oh, yeah.
those are the people who that's
QA.
hitting the hardest.
Uh-huh. Okay, I can see what to do in this puzzle.
So my cat, right, loves other cats.
Mhm.
Our roommates before they moved out had a cat she was obsessed with.
Mhm.
She hadn't seen that in quite some time.
Mhm.
Oh, hi, Kim.
There was a cat in the window in the next building across,
Mhm.
and Gravy started screaming at the other cat through the window.
Are you a cat?
Yeah, literally, just. Oh, was that Kim?
Yeah.
Hey, Kim. How's it going?
Oh, I keep hitting. Okay. Okay, I can get to there, but I can't get through this one.
Huh. Huh. I am having a hard.
And it seems like I can't really angle directly from jumping out of here, because those, as soon as I touch the ground, those
Right.
little boosters go away.
Huh.
You're just leaving work?
Is that later than normal?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know what time it is, actually. Yeah, definitely later than normal.
Who's Kim?
My wife.
Oh.
Which
I
is
might-
why it's been like a month since we started this super short game and haven't done a second one.
My wife.
Because we got married and went to Glacier for a week.
Ooh.
That
How was Glacier?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Glacier was gorgeous. If it wasn't, like,
Yeah.
I'm terrified of heights, but I would also live in the mountains. And I know that doesn't make
view.
sense. I would just never leave my house because I'd be looking out at the mountains all the time.
The view would be spectacular.
Yeah. Oh man, it was amazing.
I'm also just going to see if I can look this one up, because I also don't really see the solution either. So I'm going to just, I'm going to cheat for just a second.
Yeah. No, I'm totally fine with that, especially when we have another game to get to.
And we don't have to do all of this either.
Yeah, it might just be a good time to pass over to the other game, and we'll look it up in between. And then there's no wait. You wanna?
Yeah. Well, alright.
Pass over. Sorry, Kim. It is. I said it wasn't gonna be horror. It is about to be a horror game now.
But it's alright, because I'll be the one screaming. You laugh now.
I'll laugh then, I mean.
I'll just laugh whenever you guys are screaming. It's fine.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Well, Cam, I don't know. I think you might be the only person in here right now. But if you refresh in like a minute or 2 minutes, if this is even something you want to see, 'cause it is going to be a horror game. But yeah, we'll be back in just like 2 minute stops.